Alright TM Nation, today we have the new Beats Studio Pro headphones, which I've tested against my Sony WH-1000XM5s, my AirPods Max headphones, and my Soundcore Space Q45s for the budget conscious folks out there, because although they are at least $200 cheaper than everything else on this list, they pack a surprising amount of bang for the buck. Starting off with one of the most important features when it comes to headphones, the battery life. The Studio Pro headphones will give you about 24 hours of use with ANC on, and if you turn it off, you can get up to 40. They do also feature quick charging, which will provide about 4 hours of use from only 10 minutes worth of charging, and these do charge via USB Type-C, which is always a plus for me because I can easily plug them into my Mac or my PC while I'm on the go and not need an adapter. With the AirPods Max headphones, you can expect to get a maximum usage of about 20 hours on a charge, but your mileage can vary quite a bit depending on how loud you use them on a continuous basis. Fast charging is also possible with these as well, which will give you about an hour and a half worth of listening from only 5 minutes worth of charging. This brings me to a couple of things that I don't like about the AirPods Max. They are designed with a lightning port for charging, and unfortunately when the battery goes dead, you cannot use them while charging. I also don't believe that the case preserves the battery all that well. I know that this is supposed to keep them in a low power mode, but nowadays it seems like my pair is dying quicker and quicker no matter whether I leave them out of the case or if I put them in it. The 1000 XM5s are rated at 30 hours of battery life with ANC on, and you can get near 40 if you toggle it off. These do charge via USB Type-C, and fast charging with these will give you about 3 hours worth of listening from only 10 minutes worth of charging. The Soundcore Space Q45 surpass everything else on this list, providing about 50 hours worth of listening on a full charge with ANC on, and when you toggle it off, Soundcore claims that you can get up to 60, which is much more than anything else that you'll see in this video. These also do charge via USB Type-C, and for fast charging, 5 minutes worth of charging will get you up to 5 hours worth of use. For the design and comfort, all four pairs are comfortable on my head, but the Studio Pros and the Sonys feel the lightest out of the bunch. The AirPods Max headphones do feel substantial on my head, but not to the point where they weigh me down or cause me to feel any type of fatigue, and this is the same for the Space Q45s. I will say that the AirPods Max headphones do give you a little bit more clamping force on the sides than the other pairs, but the ear cups and the top headband feel great. These will only lay flat on a surface though, they do not completely fold up, which may make them a little bit more difficult to transport for some people. The Studio Pros have good padding on the ear cups, and the top headband is just okay. It's definitely nowhere near the quality of what you'll get with the AirPods Max headphones, but it will get the job done. The Studio Pros will also fold down to a smaller form factor overall, but they will not lay flat on a surface. With the 1000 XM5s, the headband is designed to be thin and slim, and it does share the same synthetic leather that you'll get on the ear cups. Comfort wise, I would say that the ear cups on these are similar to what I get with the AirPods Max headphones. However, you cannot easily detach and replace the ear cups on the 1000 XM5s like you can with the AirPods Max. But similar to what you'll get with those headphones, these will lay flat on a surface, but they will not fold up. The ear cups on the Q45s do feel great around my ears, but much like the Studio Pros, the top headband leaves a little bit to be desired. It's a little bit too thin for my liking. But one thing that you do get here is options in terms of how you can store them, as this pair will lay flat on a surface and they do fold up as well. Overall, in the comfort category, I would either give it to the 1000 XM5s or the AirPods Max, as these are my go-to headphones for longer listening sessions of 7+ hours. Also, when I'm going on a flight, I'd say 75% of the time I'll bring one of those pairs along with me for the trip. When it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, both the Beats Studio Pros and the AirPods Max support the one-time setup on iOS. Both headphones also support the Find My App feature on iPhone. However, where these two pairs of headphones contrast is the fact that the AirPods Max are mainly designed for Apple users, while the Studio Pros are designed to have pretty much the same functionality on both Apple and Android devices. Now, this is not to say that the AirPods Max will not work fine when connected to an Android device. However, you are going to miss out on some of the features that you get while using iOS if you do connect them to an Android. But like I said, the Studio Pros give you pretty much the same exact functionality on Android and iOS. They do support Google Fast Pair to have an easy setup on an Android device, and they will also work perfectly with Find My Device on Google's network too. Another feature that you should be aware of with the AirPods Max headphones is that they do make use of the H1 chip, which is not a feature that you get with the Studio Pros. This being the case, with the Studio Pros, you will not get automatic device switching, nor will you benefit from automatic pause and play when you remove them from your head like what you'll get with the AirPods Max. I do also want to mention that both the Sonys and the Space Q45s are compatible with LDAC, which is a feature that you don't get with the AirPods Max or Studio Pro headphones. In terms of active noise cancellation with the Beats Studio Pro headphones, I will say that even when you have ANC turned off, you will get a moderate level of passive noise cancellation, which is nice. But when you go ahead and turn ANC on using them, everything becomes much quieter, and even lower level conversations get drowned out with these fairly well. The AirPods Max headphones do a much better job than the Beats though in both passive and active noise cancellation, as even when I have them in normal mode, I really can't hear myself talking all that well, and that is pretty much gone when I toggle ANC on. These also do a better job of filtering out lower to medium levels of talking than what you'll get with the Studio Pros. The 1000 XM5s come with 8 microphones and 2 separate processors for really impressive ANC performance, but the passive noise cancellation is not as good as what I get with the AirPods Max. However, the ANC with these is top tier, and I'd say that they're neck and neck with the AirPods Max. They both do a great job of getting rid of a substantial amount of the noise going on around you, but you do get more control over the ANC with these through the Sony Headphones app than what you get with the AirPods Max. The Q45s aren't quite on par with any of the other pairs in this video, but they aren't that far behind either. They do an impressive job of filtering out lower humming tones, but some of those on the higher end do get through a lot more than what you'll get with the other pairs. One thing that I do like about these though is the fact that the companion app allows you to customize your ANC settings, such as setting them to adaptive mode, which will adjust based on your environment, or you can even select the strength level yourself if you'd like. For transparency, I would say that the clear winner is the AirPods Max, followed by the Sony 1000 XM5s just because they don't sound as natural. Third place is gonna be the Space Q45s as they don't capture as much sound, but the audio that they do capture sounds a lot more natural and less robotic than what you'll get with the Studio Pros. All of these headphones do have built-in mics, so you can take and make voice calls directly from them. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys listen to the samples just so that you guys can go ahead and judge the quality for yourselves. Let's check them out. Alright guys, so right now I have the Q45s paired to my iPhone 14 mini. As you can see, the audio that you're hearing is coming directly from the microphones on them, and I'm not going to do any type of editing to this sample, so this should give you a pretty good idea of how these will perform in a relatively quiet environment. And now I have some simulated background noise playing in the background. This part of the test is aimed at seeing how well the microphones on these headphones can focus on my speech while rejecting some of that noise. And I'll go ahead and be quiet for just a moment so that you guys know just how loud it is. And now I'll go ahead and start talking again, and I will keep the sound at the same level throughout all of these tests. Now I have the Sony 1000 XM5s paired to my iPhone 13 mini. Everything else about this test is exactly the same. Not going to do any type of editing to this sample, so this should give you a pretty good idea of how these will perform in a relatively quiet environment. And here is the background noise test using the 1000 XM5s. Again, I'm going to keep the sound level at the same exact level throughout all of these tests, and I'm not going to do any type of editing, so this should give you a pretty good idea of how well these can focus on your speech while rejecting some of your ambient noise. Now I have the Studio Pros paired to my iPhone 13 mini. As you can see, the audio that you're hearing is coming directly from the microphones on them. Not going to do any type of editing to this sample, so this should give you a pretty good idea of how well these will perform in a relatively quiet environment. And here is the background noise test using the Studio Pros, still paired to the iPhone 13 mini. And I'm not going to do any type of editing to this sample, so this should give you a pretty good idea of how well these will perform if you're in a relatively loud environment. And last but certainly not least, now I have the AirPods Max headphones paired to my iPhone 13 mini. As you can see, everything else about this test is exactly the same. Now I'll go ahead and turn on the background noise so that you guys have that comparison. And here is the background noise test using the AirPods Max headphones, still paired to the iPhone 13 mini, and I'm still not going to do any type of editing to these samples. But one thing that I do want to mention to you guys is that I can definitely tell a difference in the strength of the ANC on these and the Studio Pros, which I did right before these. I definitely can hear a lot less of that ambient noise, but this should give you guys a pretty good comparison of the microphone quality across all of these headphones. Now, in terms of the sound quality, considering both the Studio Pros and the AirPods Max share some of the same features, they really do perform similarly in this category, but it's definitely not the same. They both do support spatial audio and Dolby Atmos with dynamic head tracking, but the sound signatures are slightly different to my ears. With the Studio Pros, the sound signature is more bass heavy and it's not as well balanced as what you'll get with the AirPods Max. And don't get me wrong, the Studio Pros in general don't focus so much on the bass that it distorts the other frequencies, but the AirPods Max deliver very impressive bass while separating those deeper tones from everything else extremely well. The easiest way for me to describe it is the AirPods Max have a more buttery smooth sound signature that is hard to beat, whereas the Studio Pros sound very good too, but there is a noticeable difference in the overall level of sound separation and fidelity in between them. The 1000 XM5s sound great as well. I do like the fact that you have several options inside of the app that will allow you to EQ them to your liking. In my opinion, these are the closest out of the bunch to the sound quality that you'll get with the AirPods Max, as they do a great job with sound separation and they deliver that impressive punchy bass response as well. However, in my experience, they don't handle the lower frequencies as well as the AirPods Max headphones, especially at the higher volumes. I have found that using the 1000 XM5s with my custom EQ, they can distort some at the higher volumes, especially when I'm playing something with a heavy hitting bass line. But besides that, there isn't much that I have to complain about with the way that these sound. The Space Q45s also provide several customization options inside of the app that will allow you to tune them to your liking, and they do really sound good to my ears. I'd say that the sound signature is closer to the Studio Buds out of the bunch, but I prefer these because they do get louder than the Pros. Overall, I do think that the Pros will be more than adequate for most people, but many times when I'm listening to them, especially when I'm working out, I do find myself wishing that they had another 2 or 3 levels worth of output. But with the Space Q45s, it really comes down to how you EQ them, but they can provide a really well-rounded sound signature with impressive bass if that's what you're looking for. So before I go ahead and get into my recommendations, let's go ahead and talk about the pricing at the time of the video. The AirPods Max are going to be the most expensive at $550. The Sony WH-1000 XM5s come in second at $400. Then you have the Beat Studio Pros at $350, and the Soundcore Space Q45s are the cheapest out of the bunch, coming in at $150. All of that being said, the Studio Pros do provide some nice upgrades over the Studio 3 headphones, but they can't quite keep up with the sound quality that you get with the AirPods Max headphones, the Sony 1000 XM5s, or even the Space Q45s, in my opinion. And I do want to mention that my opinion is based on using these in wireless mode. I do understand that you can get lossless audio quality out of the Beat Studio Pros in wired mode, but that is certainly not why I picked these up, because I have much better pairs of wired headphones that cost much less. And guys, I do know that there are a lot of people out there that will assume that since the Space Q45s are so much cheaper that they cannot compete, but trust me, they don't perform anywhere near $200 worse than any of the other pairs in this video. No, the ANC that they provide is not quite top tier, but it certainly is more than adequate for most situations, and I think that the average person will be fine with the way that they perform. So if I had to choose one pair out of the bunch, it would be the AirPods Max headphones, and not just because they sound great, provide excellent ANC and transparency performance, but I also like the fact that they look and feel premium. The 1000 XM5s come in a close second, followed by the Q45s, and the Studio Pros are gonna be my last pick on the list, and this is because the 1000 XM5s are just a solid all-around pair, and so are the Q45s. The Studio Pros are good, but for the price, they simply don't do anything to make them stand out from the bunch. You don't get wear detection or automatic switching with them, and to be honest, they look almost identical to my Beats Studio 2 headphones, which I've had for over 6 years. Either way guys, I don't think that you can necessarily go wrong with any pair that you've seen in this video. Like with pretty much anything, it's gonna come down to the features that you're looking for and the price that you're willing to pay. I personally would much rather pay 50 bucks more and get a much more well-rounded and better sounding pair of headphones with the 1000 XM5s, or go ahead and save 200 bucks by going with the Q45s, but I would probably skip the Studio Pros because for the price, they just don't hit the mark for me personally. Before you get on out of here, if you rock with the channel and your boy Tech Mo, hit that subscribe button and knock that notification bell out so you won't miss any of my uploads. Welcome to TM Nation. Peace.